I'm going to tell you what the three biggest factors for determining how much repair and maintenance you should set aside for your rental property. I have seen investors make this mistake time and time again. They buy a rental property, they look at the cash flow, but what they haven't done is they haven't estimated enough repairs and maintenance for that property for the entire year. And so the first question we have to answer is, how much should you set aside for repairs and maintenance? We believe that a good rule of thumb is to set aside 1 to 2% of the ARV of the property. So if you have a $200,000 rental property, you need to set aside $2,000 or $4,000 per year for repairs and maintenance. But there's three main factors that may make this number go up or go down, and here they are. The first factor is just going to be the age of the home. If you have a newer home, obviously the repairs and maintenance are probably going to be a little less than an older home. If you're buying in an area that has 100-year-old homes, then you need to consider that your repairs and maintenance are going to be more than if you had bought a house built in the 1980s or 90s. Unless your 100-year-old home has gone through an extensive renovation, then you're going to have more repairs on that property. Number two is going to be the climate and the weather. If your property's on the coast, then moisture and salt are going to play a part in how much work needs to be done to that property. If your rental property is somewhere in the south where the summers are in the mid 90s and then the winters can drop and become very, very cold, that is going to put more wear and tear on the heating and air system, on the roof, and just on the overall condition of your property. If you compare a rental property in the deep south with a rental property in Southern California, the property in Southern California is probably going to not take as much wear and tear from the weather. And then the third factor that determines how much you should set aside for repairs and maintenance is just going to be the type of resident you put in the house. As you can imagine, having a single resident is going to be different than having a family of 5 or a family of 6 living in your home. A family with young children is just going to have more natural wear and tear on the property. Also, if you have a house and offer Section 8, that Section 8 resident more than likely is going to be living in the house more, and so there's going to be more toilets flushed, more lights flipped, and so there's going to be more maintenance needed on that property. And so let me just put all this together and give you a quick example. If you buy a property in the South, let's say in Birmingham, Alabama, and this property was built in 1935, so it's almost 100 years old, and it's in a low to moderate income area, you're hoping for a lot of cash flow, and you're placing a Section 8 resident in that property, just go ahead and budget 2% for repairs and maintenance for that property for the year. And the last thing I want to remind you is there are other expenses to consider. Obviously, there are what we call capital expenditures. We're talking roofs, heating and air systems, water heater, all of these things, they last longer, but you need to determine how old your roof is, how old your heating and air system is, the hot water heater, because you will have to replace those at some point, and you need to be setting aside money along the way. And so that's it. Those are the three biggest factors determining how much money you should set aside for repairs and maintenance. We hope this helps. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be producing more content for investors, for landlords just like you, to help you succeed in the rental market.